Decepticons, attack! Autobots, it's grind time!
Yes, it is, and I am he, and welcome back, Transformers Earth Wars fans, for another video. And today's video is by request, coming straight off the request line. One of my viewers asked for a video on team balancing to maximize points for events. And since I figure players asking for this advice probably do not have a bunch of maxed out 5 stars or even maxed out 4 stars, but are probably more of those mid-tier players, I decided it'd probably be better to cover this through my son's account rather than my main account. So eagle-eyed viewers will notice this is not Grind Time's base. This is, in fact, Cadamus Prime of TF Chaos. That's right. It's my son's account. And when I say it's my son's account, I do mean that he only pops the crystals, and I pretty much do all the other work, you know, the grinding, the leveling, all that stuff. That's me. Anywho, let's start off with some base advice before we move into the squad advice. His HQ is level 15, and as with each HQ upgrade, the very first thing you should do after upgrading your HQ is upgrade your storages, your Energon, your Alloy. You have to increase those because obviously as you raise your HQ, it takes more resources to do everything else, and you have to be able to hold that much in order to do it. So don't start with your defenses, don't start with your buildings other than your storages. Those are the first things you need to upgrade. And I recommend doing, you know, like if you have 4 build bots, obviously do, or if you have 5 build bots, you do 2 Alloy, 2 Energon at once. Then you always leave 1 build bot free. This rolls into my tip number 2. You leave 1 build bot free to upgrade walls, because as you increase your HQ, obviously build times are going to increase. Like right now, that one's already done. Let's look at this one. It's going to be 9 days to upgrade that. These were also 9 days, these defenses that are currently upgrading. So while those 4 are upgrading, I have the 1 build bot free, and that is the one I use to do the walls. Here, all the walls. While I'm waiting on the defenses to finish upgrading. And something I've noticed while running this account is that he seems to get raided much more often than I remember getting raided whenever I was starting out in the game. I think that's because they've changed some of it so that Autobots can raid Autobots and all that kind of stuff. So, because of this, I also highly recommend that whenever you do go raiding for resources, you spend as much of that Energon and Alloy as you can before you log out. Because if you're like this account, he gets raided, it seems like, 2 or 3 times a day. I know that's probably not right. It just feels that way. But I'm going to guess every day he gets raided at least once. And it's very, very frustrating if you go and you build up a whole bunch of Energon and Alloy only to have it stolen from you while you're logged out. So I recommend raiding, get as much as you can. If you're still short of upgrading your defenses or your walls or whatever, dip into your storage a little bit, your inventory, and get just what you need to put you over that amount, so that whenever you upgrade it all, you leave very little left whenever you close the game. If you're upgrading walls because you're waiting on defenses to go, so it leaves you with a whole bunch of Energon, look at your cores. What can you upgrade there? Go to your bots right here and do this. Upgrade their SAs if you can, because that would use up your Energon as well. Obviously, don't waste your spark by upgrading bots just to use Energon. Make sure you're using it on the right bots, so not 2 stars, probably not very many 3 stars, There are a few 3 stars you can still use, like Cup, Star Saber, some of them that you can upgrade and still make effective, even as 3 stars. So let's recap real quick. Tip 1, you upgrade your storages first. As soon as you upgrade your HQ, upgrade your storages. Tip 2, always keep at least one build bot free to work on walls while you're raiding. Okay. And then tip 3, don't leave a bunch of hard-earned resources stocked up when you exit the game. Spend it on walls, on upgrading bots, on cores, something. Find a way to spend it. And then tip 4, this is a new one. This is the do as I say, not as I do tip. You should always try to level everything, defense, especially defense-wise, before you upgrade to the next HQ level. If you just speed along, upgrading your HQ every chance you get, but you're not bringing your walls and you're not bringing your defenses along, you are going to be exposed to stronger teams that are just going to dog walk you. That's not going to be pretty. They're going to smash you. And they're going to take all your resources, and it's going to be very hard for you to save up enough to do what you need to do. So, don't do that. Upgrade your defense, or upgrade your HQ, upgrade your storages, and then start working on your defenses. I know it's slow, I know it's a grind, but that's the best way to do it. Now, the only thing that I have not done that with are my harvesters. And the reason for that is because, to be quite honest, I just don't think they do enough, even when you upgrade them. So I plan on doing everything else and upgrading the HQ, everything else all the way up, and then the last thing I will do is go back and do these harvesters. And I'm talking like when I'm HQ 17 and a half. Like when I'm maxed out, I will go back and do the harvesters. If I could start this account over again, I may not even build the harvesters, just because you just don't get enough from them to justify putting the points on the board, I don't think. Now, if SA changes that and starts, making you be able to put on cores, like death pulses or something on these, so that whenever they blow up, it actually helps your base. Okay, that'd be good. I'd go for that. But right now, they're not that useful. And then, as far as design goes, and this is a very much depends on you, but what I recommend to find a base that you like, try to think of how you attack bases and what you look for, and how other people are attacking your base, and then you build a base to counter that, right? Utilize the base trials feature, which is right here. You tap on, what does that say? Hold on. Tap on menu, base trials, and then you can attack your own base. And once you attack your own base, you don't have to wait for your bots to regen, so you can do it over and over and over and over and over. Now, if you use your team first, like in a raid or in a war, and then go to base trials, you're gonna have to wait on them to cool down, which I think is kind of dumb. I don't think you should have to do that, but that's a subject for another video. So go to the base trials, try out your base, find what works for you, find something that's hard. Don't just throw your base all the way at the back and leave all your defenses up front, because then you're going to get cupped. Don't put a whole bunch of defenses out on the sides, because then you're going to get rushed. I mean, try all the different attacks, try all the different stuff that you do whenever you're raiding, and then build the best base you can to counter that. No base is unbeatable. Somebody will always be able to beat your base, so don't sweat that, but do try to build the best one possible. That way, if you are chosen to be in a war lineup for your alliance, maybe you can help them by getting a couple points dropped against you, which would be very, very helpful in a war, right? So that's what you want to do. Okay, enough about base design. Let's jump over to squads. So we're in the middle of an event. I haven't done a whole lot with this event yet, because I'm getting my grind time event done, or grind time account done first. So now let's take a look. So if you're building a team from scratch, right? Oh, I was using him to level. Okay, if you're building a team from scratch, a quote-unquote well-balanced team is pretty universal, but does vary depending on who you ask, and also what bots you have. So right now his shuttle can hold 7. So somebody might say, okay, you need a tank, maybe another tank, and then you're gonna have to have a gunner, right? So here's a gunner, and let's throw in another gunner type bot. So let's throw in, he's special, but still. And then you're going to want a flyer, right? And then you're going to want maybe another flyer, and then you're going to want a healer. And this would be a team that most people would say, okay, yeah, you got it. You got, you know, Optimus I know is technically a special, but he's also a tank. Warpath is a gunner, actually, but he's literally a tank, and he's good. So maybe instead of Warpath, you'd have Dinobot. There are a lot more specials than there are actual tanks, but you get the idea. And so you'd build this team, and then you would go. Now, the number one thing to look for whenever you're building your quote-unquote well-balanced team is not your power rating. That's not the number one thing you look for, okay? The number one thing you look for is team chemistry. And I have been guilty of this as well early on. I would build a team with all my strongest bots and then attack a base in a war and not understand why I lost. Whenever other members of my alliance were attacking the same base with lower squad powers and beating it a lot of times easily. Took me a long time to realize what team chemistry is all about. So you want to have bots that complement each other, right? You don't want to have, let's do this. If you're looking at this team, you go, okay, she's my strongest, he's my strongest, he's my strongest, and you're just picking all these bots here that are top 7 in your list. That's a strong looking team, right? But they can still fail because we don't have any medics. We don't have any, well, we got Blades as a flyer. That's the only one. You know, there's a lot of holes in this team, even though it's technically my strongest possible team. So instead of starting off with tank, gunner, air, healer, or whatever, or special, or whatever, what I recommend is you pick your special bot first. Like, okay, I got Alita, 5-star. I want to use her. Okay, so we're going to do an Alita stomp. So what do I need for an Alita stomp? Well, I need Alita, and I need Inferno, and then you build the rest of the team to do whatever this attack is going to be, right? If you don't know what an Alita stomp is, that's where you launch Alita and Inferno, and then you use Inferno's ability to boost Alitas, and then you send Alita up to just stomp and smash. Okay. Another real common one is the Prime Rush. So if you're going to do a Prime Rush, you're going to want Prime. You're going to want maybe Sentius if you'll follow Prime's Rush. You're going to want a gunner, like 6-gun. You're going to want a tank to soak up damage. You know, and then all you're going to do is you're going to, after you get your team assembled, you're going to launch into the base, and you're going to just use Prime's ability to rush and pull your team straight up to the HQ and do as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible. Trying to avoid the majority of the base, which is why you don't line the edges of your base with buildings, because that's how people prime rush. So, you know, we got an Alita Stomp, you got sacrifices where you use Star Saber or Goldie, you've got a walk, just a regular walk team, which is tanks and gunners and healers, flyers probably. You got Prime Rush, an air show, that's where you launch gunners and tanks at the beginning to build up as many SA points as possible, and then you drop like 3 jets, and the whole plan of the jet is just to target the HQ with every single shot and use up all your SA points, and just on your flyers hitting the HQ to blow it up. There's a whole bunch of different possibilities. So first you got to decide how are you going to attack, and this is war. This is for war. You got to decide how you're going to attack, and then once you get your war team set and you find a method that works for you, focus on those however many bots, whether it's 6, 7, 8, however many you can fit in your shuttle. You focus on those bots and you get those bots leveled up. That way when wars come, you can hold your own and help your alliance. Okay. But if we're talking balancing teams specifically for maximizing scoring during events, I think it's a little bit different. And this is just my opinion. Your mileage may vary. Others may disagree with me, and that's fine. But I look at squad power whenever I'm running teams for an event. Okay, so let's see what I'm talking about here. So we're in an event right now, and this team, you can see the powers, 11,500. If we go in here, it's not going to be strong enough to hit the 15, most likely, right? You're going to lose a lot if you try that. So I'm just going to run zone 12 with this team. And that's the reason why I've got these 2 3-stars on the end. They're just there to collect XP from the rest of the bots, right? They're not really there. It doesn't matter who they are. They can be any bot that needs leveled up. Because if I take these bots off, take him off, this squad is still going to smash a zone 12. Okay, so this, and the reason why these bots are on this team all together, where you think, well, you could split up your Elite, you could split up your Cup, you could, yeah, definitely could. But this is my basic war team. Pretty much every war that this alliance hits, I'm going to run at least these 5 bots on that team. Sometimes that changes, and then depending on what the base is, I may add in, a flyer, I may add in a gunner, I may add in warpath there to shoot through the base, depending on what the base layout is. So this is kind of like my nucleus of my war team on this account, and that's why these bots are here. And then during events, I have Cup on this team because if I've got these 3-stars on there that need leveled up, or if whenever I have new 4-stars that need leveled up, I'm going to have them on a team with Cup, and that way if I happen to attack a base or raid a base during the event, that I can Cup, you just throw Cup to the back and blow up the HQ, then I can just launch the bot that needs the XP with it. That's basic power leveling. I'm sure you all know about that. If not, drop it in the comments, let me know. I'll make a video on it. So if we look at the other teams that I have assembled here, you'll see that this is kind of a tank heavy team. You got Huffer, Star Saber, Blaster, Jump String, Pipes. It's kind of tank heavy. A couple gunners in there, but the power level is such that this one's actually messed up. Caden must have played with it. Change it. Let's go to this one. So this is another one that's assembled. Squad power is well over the 7,500. So this team would struggle. I mean, this team might struggle just a little bit because it's really close to that level. But in the event scoring, my whole plan is to build as many teams as I can that are as outpowered as the strongest. So I can build a whole bunch. I could build one team that could handle zone 13. And then I might have enough bots left over for one team that can handle zone 12. And then all the rest would fall below that. Or I do what I've done where I've got, 4, maybe 5 teams that can go zone 12 and get me those number of points. So I can actually score more by not having one, quote unquote super team that hits the highest zone that I could possibly hit. I can back them all down a little bit, spread it out a little bit more, and make several teams that can handle zone 12 in this case. So that's gonna vary depending on who you've got, what bots you've got, what level they're at. So you just need to look at what you've got and what's effective for you. And maybe zone 11 is your highest. Maybe zone 14 is your highest. And you build as many teams as you can. Especially if you're running free to play, you're gonna want as many teams as you can that can hit that highest one and win. You don't want to be struggling every time because you don't want to drop points, especially on like leaderboards and stuff. You want to make sure you're hitting that. And you run those teams and then you log out and you wait for your teams to cool down and your cells to recharge, and then you just load it up and you go again. And depending on your bot level, you're going to be able to run at least every hour, if not more, depending on like I said, how long it takes your bots to cool down. So that's the way I run his account. This account that's only HQ 15. So I would come in here, I'd pick this base, just based off the size of, or the makeup of this team. And this is where team chemistry, to be honest with you, is not as important. Like when you're building a war team, team chemistry, number one thing. Doesn't matter how powerful the bots are, if they don't work well together, you're probably going to fail. You got to come up with a strategy. It's got to be a plan. You got to scout the base, figure out how you're going to do it, all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to raiding and then, maximizing points during events, I think it's a little bit less about team chemistry. So let's take a look at this base. Okay. We see this defense is covering the HQ. This defense is covering the HQ. This defense is covering it. This defense. Okay, so it's the HQ is well covered along with 2 outpost bots. So we're not going to be able to cup this base. Whoop, I just launched Sunstreaker. So here we go. We're going to launch it this way. We'll just run through this real quick, kind of give you guys an idea. I'm doing 1 prime rush now. Then I'm going to drop the rest of my team. Let them all get there. Then I'm going to do another prime rush. And it's going to pull all those bots around that side right there. And then, okay, they're kind of stopping now. So now I'm going to hit the HQ with prime. Tell them, come on guys, let's go. I'm going to hit blades right there. That was probably the wrong spot to put blades. We'll see if we get another chance here. And again, this isn't the best plan of attack, but because of the power, how much more powerful this team was, I was able to make mistakes, still able to beat it. And typically, whenever you're running in an event, you're gonna launch, you're gonna fast forward, use your bots, get them to the HQ, fast forward, base down, go to the next one, because you're wanting to score as many points as possible. And so if that had been a cuppable base, I would have just dropped cup, bounced him to the back, and then picked one of those 3 stars, or maybe both of them, and dropped that one or those 2, and got them the XP. So there is one team I will show. Oops. I will highlight, because we're talking about team chemistry. Okay, that's this one. So talking about team chemistry, if you noticed, this team has, I think it's Jetfire, and also has Air Raid, and that's not by accident. This is a good little trick that you can utilize if you know it. So we're going to launch team here and identify this little cluster on the right. I'm going to use Air Raid to pick out one of those buildings right there. Follow it up with Jetfire, and boom, there it goes. Now we're going to identify that cluster up in front. Going to throw Air Raid and follow with Jetfire, and whammo! Look at that, it's clearing out. So this is a handy little tip. These kind of combinations that you can use, obviously when you're raiding, but not only that, whenever it comes to war attacks, this is good too, guys. If you are not participating in wars, you really should be. That's a great way to help grow your team, grow your alliance, come up with better ways of managing your team. And by winning those wars, it helps everyone grow, because everyone gets all those resources, and those are the things you need in order to advance. And it's not fair to the other members of your alliance if you're not helping. Oh, my team's not strong enough. Okay, then you look at that base, you put together a team that you think should be able to beat it, and then you practice. You practice. Even if I'm not going to be strong enough to beat it, let me see how far I can get with an underpowered team. Sometimes you might even surprise yourself, but it's always good practice. So now we're back to this. Oops. Nope. This squad. And this one's going to be tight. I mean, depending on base layout, depending on outpost bot strength and all that stuff, this one could be an L, because this team is really close to that required or recommended strength. Okay. But what this person did was clustered a lot of their main defenses right there, and we just happen to have Jazz on this team. And Jazz will say no. 1 and 2. Look at that. Goes back to base layout, fellas. You don't want to cluster all of your strongest defenses in one area, because there are bots that have area of effect damage. Now, we could still lose this, but we got a much better chance now that we took out all that. If you guys don't use Huffer very much, which honestly I really don't, except on this account, he is good. His little laser turns for popping outpost bots. Throw that down there, they're going to pop and they're going to attack that laser torrent. A lot of times they'll use their SA on that. And, oh boy. Trying to save our boys here. Oh, saved them. From that one anyway. The pipes up there. This may be an L. This may be an L. Go minions. Go minions. Oh, we still got Sunstreaker. We got it. I thought Sunstreaker died when Jazz died, but he was still alive. So there's another victory. And that's pretty much it. You know, as far as my recommendations for maximizing scoring during events. So this was a little bit of base design, a little bit of squad building. Let me know down in the comments if you agree, if you disagree. Let me know if you have any other questions. Now see this. Oh, this would have been a great cup base. You just throw cup right back there. Nothing's, well, this may touch him, but it's not going to kill him. Maybe that would have worked, but we don't have cup, so we're going to do it this way. But let me know in the comments, like I said, what questions you have, comments, concerns, if you agree, you disagree, if you know, think you know a better way, great. I'm not saying my way is the only way or the best way. I'm just saying this is, you know, my advice. This is what I've done. This is what I've found has worked. And your mileage may vary. You may very well have a better way. And if that's the case, I would love to know what that way is. So be sure to share it. I'm just going to try to beat this real quick. That's it. That's the advice. You know, it's again my opinion, my opinions. So feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to tell me I'm dumb or whatever, and you know a better way. And then put that way down there in the comments, and let's hear it. Let's see. Let's discuss. If you like the content I'm putting out, please be a friend and tell a friend. Please like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe, please. I do like to see that subscription number going up. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And that's going to do it. So until next time, guys, just keep grinding.